Body bags where horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And today I'm bringing you the end of the 88 films theme week. So I took a look at the kind of combination, would you call it an anthology with just two? Yeah, I suppose you would. So yeah, the American/Italian anthology from the greats of George A. Romero and Dario Argento, Two Evil Eyes. So we have oh crap, I can never remember the name of the first film. Let me just check. It's going to be on the back here. The Facts in the Case of M. Valdemar, and we also have The Black Cat. So kind of they're two Edgar Allan Poe stories, basically. The Black Cat's probably the most famous one. I imagine that most people kind of know. But anyway, let's start off with the first one. So we have Adrienne Barbeau in this one. So this is the Romero feature in the anthology. So we have Adrienne Barbeau, and she's married, kind of, you get the impression, quite unhappily, to this very, very wealthy guy who's actually suffering from some sort of terminal illness. And he's basically end of care health. So basically he's dying. Like I said, it's terminal. It's towards the end. So he's in a lot of pain. And yeah, he's at home and he's living with Adrienne Barbeau. He has a nurse to help him with bits and pieces. But how we start off and everything. So she's with the lawyer and she's basically fleecing him. I don't know what's going on, that obviously he's very unhappy in the marriage. He's not going to give her the money or something like that. So she's swindling him out of the money. So basically she's forged his signature, changed the will, and the lawyer's a little bit non-sure about this. So he phones and Valdemar actually says, no, this is okay. This is something I want to do. Unbeknownst to the lawyer, that he's actually under hypnosis by this younger doctor, I think he's a doctor, who's actually having an affair or had an affair with Adrienne Barbeau. Anyway, they're trying to swindle the money out of him together. So the kind of, yeah, it goes along. They need to keep him alive for a while, but that goes wrong and he dies. So their plan is in jeopardy of going wrong. So they need to have the body. Basically, they need to preserve it to make it look like he's just died for a later date. So they stick him in a freezer. But basically, weirdness goes on, and he is still alive, but his subconscious is still alive through the state of hypnosis. Anyway, the doctor is fascinated by this, the one that put him under the hypnosis. Adrienne Barbeau freaks out and shoots him, and they think that maybe that's all done. That's it. So he's digging the grave outside. Adrienne Barbeau goes back down to the basement to see what's going on. So that's where they stuck the body in the freezer. And he gets out. He's kind of reanimated now. And he ends up killing her. The doctor's like, oh shit, I need to fix this fast. It's like a bit late for her maybe. But he kind of wakes him up from the hypnosis. But one of the things that the body was telling him is like, there's others here, making it sound like there's these forms, like not good things, like evil. So basically, when he undoes the hypnosis, it's too late. Valdemar tells him it's too late, that they're out there. They came through. They're the ones that reanimated his body and were using his body. And it's like, he's woken him up too late. It hasn't worked. Like, the others are still out there. But the doctor's fine. He doesn't really, I don't know what happens anyway. But he goes back to his apartment. He's all happy. He's got a big bag of money that he's got, a suitcase full of money that he's got from the the what do you call it? The safe in the house. But he's putting himself under hypnosis to get sleep. That's how he gets his sleep. And while he's under hypnosis, these others come and you see them in like this spirit kind of form. And so he has his metronome to help him sleep. And they throw the metronome into his chest, obviously killing him. But then they go into his body. And so later there's the landlord. He's phoned the police. And we get our Tom Atkins as a detective in this, as a smallish role. And he pops out through different bits of the film. But there's this smell and these moaning sounds. And then it's like, this landlord gives up and it's like, I'm phoning the police. It's been a couple of weeks now. And Tom Atkins goes in with this other copper detective. They're looking around. And basically, it's this decomposing body of this doctor. And he's like dead, obviously. His metronome's still stuck out of him, but he's saying that he's trapped. The others are inside him, and there's no one to wake him up, and he's trapped forever like this. That's where it ends. So pretty cool. The idea of that kind of never ends sort of thing. So the second one, we have the Argento's take of the Black Cat. I noticed with this one, I don't know why, it felt a little Fulci to me. I don't know why. Well, there's similarities, I guess. There's crossovers with Fulci and Argento, bits and pieces sometimes. But yeah, it just kind of felt a little bit Fulci to me. But we follow Harvey Keitel, who's a photographer. And we see him at the start as this case where this woman's been sliced in half. But then the police are like, okay, him taking photos. He does these crime scene photos. And yeah, he's a bit dark and twisted. He's not right. He's alcoholic as well. But his girlfriend is the juxtaposed version of that. She's really nice and happy. She's a professional violinist. She has students that she takes to the opera and things like that. She's this loving character and like the opposite of what Harvey Keitel is. And they have different arguments and sort of thing. He's a real shit to her. But when he's in his like photography studio in the basement of his house, this cat keeps appearing, and then it goes on for a while. This cat clearly hates him, and you know where this is going with all this. Like, there's the antagonization of the cat, and it pisses him off, and it kind of gets to the point where he ends up killing the cat. He stages this photo shoot setup, and he takes in photos, but he's killing the cat, and he ends up using this on his rather grim photography book of all these different deaths and that, and he uses this on the front cover. So the disappearance of the cat leads to another kind of violent argument with his girlfriend, and she's like, where's the cat, sort of thing. But then she's out and she sees the book, the front cover on it, so she goes back to confront him. As another extra violent kind of argument, which ends up in him killing her. And then of course he panics and he bricks her up in the wall. We kind of know how this goes. So then he's drowning his sorrows. Probably doesn't have that many sorrows, but he's drunk in a bar, and this other cat appears that he gets given and by the waitress, and it's identical to the other cat. So he obviously goes back home and has to dispose of this cat. Into like cut in half or something like that. I can't really remember. But anyway, during there's all this going on, obviously the nice girlfriend, she has people that are noticing that she's not around, like the students, and they think something's up, and they end up telling the landlords that maybe that there's a problem, maybe he's killed her or something. So then the police are involved. They come round. He's all cool, he's all fine, look around the house, no problem. And then as they leave, they hear this kind of horrible meowing noise, and what is that? And they manage to get down to the cellar, and they're like, so they handcuff him, get him, read him his rights. And did they read him his rights or just handcuff him? Anyway, they break down the false wall, and then you see the decomposing body of the girlfriend being eaten by the kittens that the cat had laid. It's like, it's really cool. But anyway, he attacks them, he freaks out, attacks the policeman with a pickaxe or something like that, and then he's trying to make his escape, and like climbs up, like out, is going to go out the second door window. He's got like the rope, and it all goes wrong, and he ends up hanging himself. is there hanging out the window at the end with the cat looking at him, looking very pleased with herself. And that's the end of the Black Cat. Yeah, so this is our anthology. I think with having the name Romero and Argento, I kind of fell in the trap. It's the trap that you shouldn't fall in with, but I was expecting more. So I kind of prejudged it on past films that I love, which is always a bad thing to do, especially when they're shorts. So this actually does fall a little bit short for me. Probably a little bit unfair, because I do think they are two good adaptations, and I think they're done well. Obviously, I prefer the Black Cat one. It's a little bit more to it, but both are good. Both are good. They have their merits. It's not my favourite realisation of the Black Cat, but still, they're Edgar Allan Poe, so you know that they're going to be interesting stories. And when you have these two working on it, they put a good package together. But anyway, that's my review, and the heavy spoilers on these are basically just a walkthrough of the two movies. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you guys next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.